something like that. So music, the focus now. Okay, you want to get into music in what capacity? Is it as a singer at this point? At this point,
I don't know if I would call it a singer. I haven't really practiced singing per se in a while, but I would say more of the overall, yes, pop singer, quote unquote. I'm more about putting all the aspects of live performance together. I don't focus on myself primarily being a singer, but combining songwriting, singing, dancing, theatrics, I think that's what really makes that's what makes me happy, and that's what I focus on.
So you want to focus on this performance piece. So you say, in what capacity can I express myself through this?
Yeah.
Is that what led you to the world of drag?
Yeah. I think that I stumbled upon drag, but it's what fulfilled me in all of those ways. In college, it was my first semester, and my college had a semesterly drag show. And the first semester, I was like a baby and, still was trying to figure out myself. And my friend told me to watch the show, so I did. And I was like, oh, I'll never do that. That's not the kind of gay that I am. And then the second semester, I ended up trying it out and obviously loved it, because here we are. And so I started off by impersonating Britney Spears, and I would use backup dancers and cut the live performances together. And then eventually I just started doing my own thing. And when I moved to New York, it became a real thing for me.
So you're in New York City. What are you going to do with this interest in drag now? You go looking for, I don't know, is there an agent you get as a drag queen, or is it going to looking at clubs or meeting other drag queens?
There's a lot of different ways you can go with it. The best way to be a full-time drag queen is to get booked 4 to 5 nights a week in the city, regularly every week. And that's what I'm doing right now. Basically, I have about 3 gigs. I'm working on a 4th, and it pays the bills. If you don't do that, I don't know many other people that have full-time drag careers that don't do that. I've seen a lot of drag queens go into movies and TV, but it's still very sporadic. The other thing that people do is go audition for RuPaul's Drag Race, which is a TV show on VH1. And that's the major method of becoming a full-time drag queen. I've never been on the show. I know a lot of people that were on the show, and I don't know if that's a path for me. It's a little hard, and it's a quick way to fame, but it's also a quick drop off of fame. So there's a couple ways you can go, but the most successful one I've seen for the long term is being either on that show or in the New York City drag scene. There's very few drag queens right now that are in the mainstream, like at the top, like everybody knows of. The one is RuPaul. The other one is only semi-famous, and his name is Todrick Hall, and he is doing music like I am. And he's doing pretty well for himself right now.
But for you, okay, you're in the city. You want to do this drag queen thing now. Is this how Kimmy Moore came about? Did you have this other identity created before you started going out there looking for gigs?
Yes. Kimmy Moore was created in college. And when I moved to the city, I kept that name, and I would do competitions and auditions and stuff in the city as Kimmy Moore. And then when I started doing music, I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep the name attached to Kimmy Moore. But I decided that since I had pursued drag in the city and I had a lot of following, that the best option for me would be to keep it attached to that drag queen persona.
Mm-hmm.
Does that answer the question that you asked?
Yes, in a way. Well, how did you come up with the name?
Kimmy Moore is a play. Every drag queen, not every drag queen, but most drag queens have a play on words.
Mm-hmm.
And mine is related to the song Give Me More by Britney Spears.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
Very clever. So what was your first performance as Kimmy Moore? Do you remember?
I do. Very, very, very clearly. There's even a video on my YouTube channel. It was a mashup of Britney Spears Circus and Britney Spears 3. I had 2 backup dancers. I am so lucky that I had friends in college that dealt with my crazy ass because it was great. I looked like crap, but I gave a good show. Mm-hmm. I will tell you that.
Where was it?
It was in the big hall at my school. In Fredonia, near Buffalo.
Oh, in Buffalo, okay.
Yeah.
I
went all the way up there.
And what was it like? You did it. You did your first gig. How did you feel?
Oh, amazing. I felt like Beyonce. Or actually Britney. Yeah, it was great. It's what kicked off my drag career.
Now, was it you lip syncing to her songs, or you were singing along with this?
No, it was lip syncing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, were you doing lip syncing for the most part in the beginning of your career?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Majority of my career has been lip syncing. But then
he incorporated his voice into singing.
Yeah.
Now, you released a single. Was the singing live happening before that, or did it start after you released your single, My Head?
No, I was singing. I was singing live. Well, you mean in drag?
Yes.
Oh, no. I didn't sing as Kimmy Moore because I didn't like how it kind of ruined the illusion of being a woman. And now my perspective on that has changed a little bit. It's more about just the entertainment rather than the illusion of being a woman, because people know when you go to see a drag show, you're not seeing a woman.
Right.
So I've given up on that. And I think it makes it more interesting to have the contrast.
Right. They know going into it what they're going to see. And you're ready to put on a show.
Right.
And so you've gotten steady work since your first debut, right?
Yeah. I have now I have steady work. It's I think last year was the first time I had a pretty steady work, and then this fall is the first time that I've been able to do drag by itself without having another job to back me up.
Wow. Now you're playing at certain venues all the time?
Yes. I work at 3 bars on 3 different nights of the week right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you share the bill with other drag queens in these shows? It's like a variety of performances?
How it works in New York is each day of the week there is a different show at each bar, and it's usually between 1 and 3 drag queens per show. Mm-hmm. My act as a drag queen right now is a duo act with my best friend who's also a drag queen, and so we perform together 3 nights a week. We do side-by-side choreography, comedy numbers. I do my singles, Yeah, it's a very well balanced show. We're both dancers, which is why at the end of every show we're dying, which is why it's good that I have a couple of days off now in my life.
You get to recharge the batteries.
Yeah.
So what are some of the challenges of breaking into the drag queen biz?
Normally I compare this to the pop industry because it is a much smaller scale, but it is pretty much just like any other industry that you step into. It's about connections. And the hardest thing about it is, actually, I don't know what the hardest thing about it is. The whole thing's hard. But you have to find a way to stand out and a way to get work without depending on somebody else. There's probably a lot of secrets that I know and that I don't know about the industry. Yeah, will you repeat that question so I can answer it more clearly?
What are some of the challenges of breaking into the biz?
Okay, let me rephrase that. The first challenge is that there are a lot of drag queens in the business. I'm talking 5 years ago, it was way less, and now because of how mainstream drag is becoming, everybody is a drag queen now. I would go to the bars and like see competitions and do competitions 5 years ago, and there would be like maybe 5 drag queens competing. Now there's like 25 at every competition.
Wow.
So the pool is bigger now, which means the competition is bigger. That's probably the biggest challenge. The other challenge is that if you want to have a career in it, you have to be good at multiple things. You can't just be a good looking drag queen. You have to be able to hold a full show by yourself, a full hour, at least hour and a half show by yourself or with a quote unquote coworker. Those are probably the two main challenges that I would see.
Get booked for like a private party or anything like that?
I do, yeah. Mostly because of my work at the bars in New York, I do get asked to do private parties pretty often now.
Good.
Yeah, I think my next one is in December.
And now is that going to be you and your co-queen?
Yeah. Co-queen. Oh, I love that.
Co-queen.
You and your co-queen.
What's your co-queen's name?
Her drag name is Boudoir Le Fleur.
Oh, I like that. Boudoir Le Fleur.
French.
Very avant-garde.
Yes.
And how long have you been doing the show together?
About 3 years. Wow, that went fast.
Wow. Now, do you still do solo work, or is it the two of you in the show?
I do, but not. I will be. We'll say that I will be. I should have my own solo show coming up soon, and I also fill in a lot at other bars when somebody's on vacation or something. I'll do my own show at a bar to cover another queen. So occasionally I am still working solo, but most of my week is with Boudoir.
Merci. Well, this is an interesting question. I thought I'd never ask, but what is your process into getting into your drag queen mode and getting ready to perform? If there is a process.
The first step is brace yourself. Because you're in for a long evening. The first step is makeup, which takes about an hour and a half.
Wow.
It used to take me 2.5 hours, and now I've done it so long that you speed up after a while. And then you have to